Kill him.
Oh goodness, poor guy.
Ouch.
What an unlucky.
Excellent.
Okay.
I'll make sure I get my numbers to kill him at the very last possible second.
No, I'll pass the fucking alcohol. Ooh, that's a good idea. I can drink tonight.
I work 24 hours at the firehouse tomorrow, so I can.
Oh, 24-hour shift.
I worked
Obviously-
20 yesterday on the medic.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah,
And
yeah.
tomorrow's my Wednesday of the week.
I only found out recently that in the US, most paramedics are a fire department.
Depending on the state, yes.
EMTs, yeah.
Depending on the state.
Right, right.
What the fuck?
Did you
I'm
just say
actually
you
not-
also have to get them?
That's against the law, actually.
Yeah, you got to remember.
Are we first or third person?
Gruff, apparently you can hear me talking right now. That shouldn't be happening. Kill all comms.
Hello and welcome everyone to the 6th week of the preseason of the Naval Sports League. Today we have another exciting match for you all. My name is Wilberworth. I will be today here as your main host in place of Lamarck, who can't make it. And I will be joined by two co-hosts today. Our very own Atticus. Hello, hello.
Good afternoon. How's it going?
And as a special guest, Chewy of Troy. Hello. I can't seem to hit Chewy at the moment. Right, we will be sooner or later joined by Chewy. Furthermore, we have...
Hello, hello.
Oh, there he is. Hello, Chewy. Glad you're with us. Right, furthermore, we have... I am double broadcasting, apparently. That is not good. Sorry guys, we have some audio issues today. Bear with us, it will soon be fixed. I'll just carry on with the introductions for now and excuse the poor audio. It should be good in a second. We have lovely correspondents today helping us out from the different ships. There will be Percy. Hello, Percy.
Hello, how you doing?
Quite good, thank you. And we have Warcrime. Hello, Warcrime.
Hello.
Further, we will have Piet.
Good afternoon.
And Swaggington.
Hello.
Hello, and Jeb.
Hi.
So, as you can see, we have quite a crew today, so that should be an exciting match. And I haven't even told you about the match, have I? So, today, the Bonapartnership will be fighting against the SCP38 on the map Agates. Both of these teams have fought one match before, and in the case of the Bonapartnership, even on this very same map. Right, so just to remind everyone, the Bonapartnership is a coalition team made up of the 1st RM and the 63E regiments, while the SCP-38 is made up of the number 16 and the number 22 regiments. Today, the Bonapartnership will be playing as the British team, and the SCP-38 will be playing as the French team. And on the map Agates, the wind will be west, which will mean it will come to the side, not favoring either of the two teams. Let me just have a look what's up with our audio.
Audio's all good.
Audio is good. All right, lovely. Right, so just as a brief recap, last week we had an exciting match in which the Kraken team won against the Jackals team. And that is a bit relevant, I would say, because the Kraken were the team that the SCP-38 have played before, and they have lost against the Kraken, if by a small margin. It came down to the 13 gunner, which was alive in the end for the Kraken team. This was the very first match in the NSL preseason. And the Bonapartnership have won their first round against the Jackals, but also by a relatively small margin. So with that and these teams' other performance against each other in mind, Atticus, what do you think is the outlook for today's match?
Honestly, I can't call this one. I cannot call this one. This is tight. You, on one hand, you've got the Bonapartnership. They beat the Jackals fairly handily in their first game, and SCP is sitting there on a 0-1 win-loss ratio. So, the momentum's with the Bonapartnership, but the SCP they went to the wire against the Krakens in their first game. And we've seen the Krakens now win 2 in a row, so my own personal leanings, I think it's going to be the 38s. The SCP-38s are going to take this one. I'll put my neck out and say that now.
That is, yeah, I'm inclined to agree, but I'll just I'll keep back for today as I have two correspondents, and instead I'll ask Chewy, what do you think? What will happen today?
I faced both these teams before in a previous league, and I know they're both really good. It is so close. I think it's going to come down to positioning and map familiarization, and because of that, I'm going to give a slight edge to the Bonapartnership, but only
Because
slight.
they've played on this map once before, yeah?
Yes.
Although with different wind conditions, so...
That is
yeah.
true. I'm looking at this map in the wind conditions, and it's going to make a very interesting opening. The opening is going to be key here.
Yeah, so for people who can't remember this map or weren't there last time, we'll soon enough see it on screen, I hope. But until then, basically one of the teams starts within a group of islands, while the other team starts in the open ocean. So it's not completely symmetrical for the two teams, or not at all actually. And then there's a big blocking island bar in the middle, so neither team can just sail straight ahead to get to the other. And basically they have to channel themselves, one team being a bit more free to maneuver because they don't have any other islands in the way, have to channel themselves to get at each other. And last time in the match of Jackals versus Bonapartnership, the Jackals, I believe, had the wind behind them and went through this gap coming from the open ocean and got a bit wrapped around there, while the Bonapartnership were against the wind, moved slowly, more cautiously, and kept the line together a bit better. But as it was a relatively close fought thing. So today, with the equal wind, we'll see if this asymmetrical map has an impact there.
Absolutely, and it's going to be interesting to see which team decides to go against the wind and which team decides to go with the wind. I mean, they may both make the same decision. Who knows? We might end up with a bit of a line battle going here. But that's going to be the first key decision maker: is do you go with the wind or do you go against? And there's a plus and minus. There's pros and cons to both options, especially with this map. It's a very unsymmetrical map.
Hmm.
Agreed.
So I think it's also, as always, one of the tactical. Well, I don't know. Is it strategy if it's happening within one match? I don't think so, right? It's tactics then. So strategy is your overall approach to the league, I guess.
Let's not get bogged down in a
Ah.
debate between strategy versus tactics.
Yeah, somewhere there's operations in there. Anyway, so let's say the one tactical choice that you have to make as an admiral, and by the way, the SCP-38's admiral today is Muffin Top Scout, while the Bonapartnership's admiral is Triangle. One of these decisions is which boats you take out, because for everyone who doesn't know, both teams get one 13-gun brick sloop as their flagship and 4 8-gun schooners as the bulk of their fleet, and these are the ships that actually determine the outcome of the match by points by basically getting points for sinking the enemy ships. And then there's also a bunch of boats. There's both gunboats and rocket boats in equal numbers that can be taken out of spawn. 2 at a time are allowed to be active per team, and they don't count, their loss doesn't count towards a team loss, basically. So you can squander all of them and still win. But it's quite interesting the tactics behind which type of boat you lead with and which you save back maybe for later in the match. So we've seen different approaches to that. We've seen rocket boats being taken out in the beginning and used to, for example, disarm the 13-gun, disarm the carronade in the beginning at the cost of, immediately losing your very potent rocket boats, which can also be used for cleanup, while gunboats are a bit more of a conservative option to protect your fleet from the enemy's boats. So how was it for you, Chewie? What do you think is the right play here, especially with these asymmetrical map? What boats to take out?
I'm going to take a combo here today of 1 rocket boat, 1 gunboat. Unlike the Jackals when they first played this map, when Bonapartner faced them, the Jackals brought 2 rocket boats and attacked Bonapartnership right as they were coming out of the center island and one of the islands next to it, doing massive damage to the Bonapartner's flagship that match. But even with that damage, the Bonapartnership captain of that match, which is Micah, and he is the 13 gunner captain again today, has the highest captain score of any captain. So I'm thinking if I'm Bonapartnership, I'm going to probably sail east to bank myself some wind. While if I am SP, I'm just going to call them the 38s today just so I don't mispronounce their names. If I'm the 38s, I'm going to maybe try to go west, but just because how the channels funnel, you might not see the Bonapartnership go that way. They might try to bank their wind. So I'm interested. Depending if I'm in open water or in the islands, I don't know what I would do here off the right now.
Well, we'll certainly see, because at the moment we have switched maps, so we are now in the actual arena. I don't know if it's on stream yet. I don't think so.
We are
But
T
yeah,
minus 1 minute and 25 seconds out from the start of this game.
lovely. Right, so okay, we are on overhead. So Atticus, could you point us to who is who on this screen?
Absolutely. If you're seeing the overhead now, on the left over here in these beautiful yellow ships, we have the Bonapartnership, who are on the British team today. Excuse my camera work, it's not great. And over to the right of the screen, in the on the French side, in these green ships, is the SCP-38.
All right, thank you. Right, so yeah, this will really be interesting. I mean, the Bonapartnership, really, they have this island directly in front of their nose, basically.
I mean, if I had to choose which setup I'd want here, I'd take the Bonapartnerships. They have some options here. They can
Yeah, they can hide it.
hide, they can go for some sort of blockade, and the onus really with the open water is on the 38s to get in there and take the fight to the Bonapartes. So
Yeah.
I,
I'm seeing a bit of friendly fire here in the kill feed. I mean, there's of course the admins who all have to spawn in once and then die, but there's also been some friendly killing going on there. Blackwing Nut and Glock and Sherbet and Shum all have died already, or
well,
done damage to other players, and that will
that's only
reflect on their final scores. Eh?
it will indeed, and it's only going to negatively affect their personal scores in the stat standings and the stat races.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, we have wind. The all sail has been given, and the fleets are off. So the Bonapartnership is going with the wind, it looks like, at least
Yes,
around the
they
initial
are.
island. And they have their flagship in the lead. We've seen some fleets where the flagship is more in the middle, for example, the Leviathans, which sailed in a line abreast. And they have taken out, the Bonapartnership have taken out one gunboat and one rocket boat, as Chewie predicted.
Interestingly enough, it looks like the 38s want to go to the east. Yeah, they're going hard
yes.
into the wind here, and the Bonapartes are moving to match them now. The Bonapartes are moving to match them, so it's an early chess game of positioning here.
Oh yeah, and the SCP38 on the French team here, they have taken out two gunboats, so they are going maybe a bit more of a defensive route, going into these islands not knowing where there might be a rocket boat lurking behind a corner. They have their defensive gunboats. And they also have, beside their boats, the flagship in the lead. So the Bonapartnership's flagship, actually, Warcrime, you're on there, right?
Affirmative.
Who is actually captaining that ship? Because there were some conflicting reports before the match started. Do you have Mika? Or...
Mika is on the wheel.
Mika's on the wheel, okay, because there was a report that it might be Serons, but no, it is Mika after all. Okay. Percy, you on the SCP-38 flagship, is it correct that you have Muffintop Scout, the admiral of the fleet, also on the wheel?
Absolutely, we do have Muffin over here. Gave us quite a bit of trouble in our first match against them, so looking forward to see what he's going to pull off today.
Yeah, we all are. So it looks like both fleets are steering quite hard against the wind, which
The
I think
Bonapartes.
Bonapartner's actually going to split the islands here.
Oh,
They're going to sail even with the wind here.
that was
It does look to me like they are going to come out of the islands for the fight.
Yeah.
Unless they swing to port round this dot island here and decide to go up
might.
and over. That personally, that's what I'd do. That's what I'd do. If I'm intent on being the aggressor, that's the aggressive path for me. It
Yeah,
means you won't get
it looks
caught.
like it. They have put one of their 8 guns in the lead now, which might soften the initial blow on a 13 gun from a
Absolutely.
coordinated enemy fleet. And Atticus, you are a captain, while I really am not. So going against the wind, as I understand it, is a way to keep your options open so that you can have the wind and the weather gauge when you really need it, right?
It is, yes. I mean, the old onus is always to go against the wind early because you'll have the wind when you really need it when you're in that engagement. Right now, the fleets are too far apart. I mean, if you can see on the overhead, you can see that is a carronade full. That's a full range carronade firing over 500 meters. These guys are about a kilometer away from each other at this point. You know what I mean? There's a full 1,000 meters between them. The interesting thing is the gunboat lineup. So the 38s have got the 2 gunboats basically hugging their 13 gun.
Yeah, but they keep quite a distance from the 8 guns, right?
That distance.
There's a gap there.
That gap worries me. I don't know whether it's intentional.
I hope so.
But the other thing is, and you can only just see it in the bottom left of the overhead now, the Bonaparte's boats are actually right down to the southeast of the map. and are almost hiding, like they're ready to ambush. I'm not quite sure what's going on there.
Oh,
That's
wondering
I think
where they
what I
went.
said.
Yeah.
They are doing a far scenic route here against the wind, going away from their fleet, and now that they are turning back around, it seems like no, they are just hiding there. They're really just sitting there, sails furled, both boats. So both the gunboat, which might be needed for defense, as well as the rocket boat. These are, I think, captained by Charnelise and Safe, respectively. And they have carpenters on there too. So these are quite potent offensive weapons. But it seems like at least one of them even is swimming to the island, maybe to spot what is happening with a spyglass, because I think that's an adept sailor there. Anyway, they are sitting over here waiting in ambush
This is a
for the SCP fleet. I don't know if they'll ever get close there, because the SCP fleet is led by their two boats, so they might actually spot and defuse that whole situation with the Bonapartnership boat lying in ambush. But it's 4 minutes in already since all sail, and I think, yeah, there has been one hit so far.
it's a very cautious opening. The Bonapartnership don't want to give up the advantage of the islands, and the 38s do not want to go directly into the Bonapartnership. It looks like they're going to try and come all the way down to the very bottom, to the far east of this map, and then start moving up with the wind.
Yeah, and the Bonapartnership have turned around, right? They have not gone through the channel. They have circled an island and now are heading basically back to their spawn.
Yeah, and the problem
yeah.
they're going to have here is if they do start to head east or southeast, they're going into the wind, and they're going into the wind at a point where, okay, there's a bit of a broadside into nothing. I'm not quite sure what that was.
Possibly emptying cannons.
Yeah, that might be it. So, Piet, you are on the first French or SCP-38 8-gun, right? What is going on over there? Do you see anything that you're shooting at the moment? No, right? That's
No,
nothing.
they trying to shoot at the British line, but they are way too far away to do it right now.
Yeah.
What I could also say is that seems that SCP has put some rookie captains during, during this match.
I don't know. I mean, the names, at least on my list here, they don't seem to be like rookies at all. That's like, you are on Amit's ship, right?
I was just listening to captains telling probably another captain to drop out sails with number keys.
Yeah, so okay, so because they were going against the wind, and setting square sails actually slows you down against the wind, yeah? So that might be why there was a gap behind the 13 gun, that they actually, the 8 gun captains didn't realize that they had their square sails set, yeah? Is that what you're saying?
That's right, that's right. I was seeing the 8 gun before me constantly releasing the square sail.
Huh. That's
Interesting move by the 38s here.
Yeah, they are not going in around the east either now. They are heading back towards the middle of the map, setting their square sails as they go into the turn, and actually heading now towards the Bonapartnership, although they are not yet in range. So, Atticus, do you have a view of all these boats? Do you know where the Bonapartnership's boats have gone off to?
The Bonapartnership's boats look to be just. The Bonapartnership's boats are still close to their spawn, just to the east of their spawn, behind this long island. Meanwhile, the 38's boats are circling one of the lower dot islands. So
Oh yeah, now I
God
see
knows,
them. Yeah.
I
God
wonder if
only
they
knows.
spotted.
Go ahead.
I wonder if they spotted them and were trying to counter their gunboats with their own gunboats.
Yeah, and then they've just retreated and are hanging back. I wonder why they're saving all their boats for so long, because they have replacements. I don't know. This is strange.
Oh, I'm not sure about this move by the 38s. They're going to cross their own T and sail into the entire fleet of the Bonapartnership here.
Yeah, although the Bonapartnership have that pesky island in the way, so that currently prevents their 13 gun from shooting properly, right? So we'll see. Is any of our correspondents on the lead 8 gun of the Bonapartnership there, of the Brits? Apparently not.
That will be my friend.
All right. Well, we'll see then. Warcrime, can you tell us what's going on your ship?
Yes, we've just started engaging the enemy 13 gun and starting to get hits now.
They are getting a
Yeah,
little
I mean, you're in a
closer.
good blocking position there, basically. But I fear that some of your other 8 guns might have a bit of a problem with the island being in their way. So, how is the coordination of the gunners on your ship so far?
They're making good shot calls and communicating. It's going well so far.
That's good to hear.
Confirm. Quarter.
Conversely, I'd like to hear from Percy on the French 13 gun, because they're under a lot of fire right now.
They are indeed. We've
What's
just
the ship
lost.
called?
We've just lost one of our main cannons, but we do have Seawolves conducting quite a bit of a raucous sort of counter-attack almost with cannon barrages. They seem to be aiming they're splitting their fire almost. The front half seem to be aiming against the 8 guns that are coming behind the island, while the sort of rear cannons are sort of targeting the 13. I don't know if this might actually end up being a bad sort of decision overall, but hopefully they can sort of come and get their sort of fire coming again soon.
Yeah, so now I see that the SCP have brought their 2 boats in the middle of their line, basically, and have one of their 8
it's
guns
like top
in
of
the
first
rear
of
of
the
their
hit
line with quite a bit of
cannon line.
gap. Once again, they have a gap in their line there.
He is a long way back there. That's a long
Yeah,
way.
he is. He's not
Yeah,
yet engaged at all.
I don't know whether the Bonapartes have seen him. They could go into a trap there.
Yeah, because they are turning in now, right? Because they're turning around that island. Basically, it's become a kind of a spiral around that island they were hiding behind. And I'm not sure if they can keep the SCP's flagship in rotation, and they might just get their T's crossed by that lone 8 gunner there.
I mean,
if-
I'm
if
looking
you-
at that. Go ahead, Chewie.
If I was Fishy right now, I would be dropping my sails because he's almost crossing the T on the Bonaparte's flagship, while their own 38's flagship is sailing behind the fleet, crossing the T to the rear, so they can get them here in a crossfire, a 90 degrees crossfire, and with this other 38's ship coming in, they can do massive damage. Right now, I'm loving the position of the 38's. The Bonapartnership's all spread out. They're getting crossed from the rear. They're getting crossed from the front. I mean, this is a trap right now, and the 38s are, I think, winning this engagement.
I absolutely agree. The 38s are going to have to make this stick, though, because they're about to turn back into the wind when things could go a bit squiffy. But if you look at the ship healths now, the Bonaparte's flagship is nearly down to half health. Okay, fair in
Look at
mind.
that 38.
The
Look at
38.
the 38's last ship.
Yeah, it's
Oh my
goodness,
God.
it has now it's getting rocketed. I think it turned the wrong way. It should have blocked that channel basically, and maybe tried to flee again. But now it's turning into these boats, getting its rear raked. Are there any correspondents on that lone ship here? I don't believe there are. Right, that is who's captain on that one. That's Flex.
Fishy is.
SCP-38 Flex. No, it's Flex.
Oh, Flex. My bad.
Yeah, it's Flex, and Flex has just abandoned the wheel.
I think he's
Um,
trying to empty some of his cannons. I'm thinking they're having all their cannons loaded, and they don't want that for this rocket bombardment.
Yeah, probably. I hope they're not currently being boarded. Yeah, I
They're
think
losing
they
so
are.
many cannons.
Yeah, they've just
Are we
fired a
still doing
great shot
chain
somewhere
around?
into nothing. Because I
Chain
think they're
shot
worried
around
about
Jamaica.
swimming carpenters, which I do see there are swimming people from the boats heading towards them. But I think it is pretty clear that this will be the first major ship to go down in this whole thing.
Keep focusing the closest
Although
state gun. We will
on
see
the health
that.
bars at
Let's
the
go.
top, I don't see it taking massive damage yet. That'll change
The
soon enough,
closest
I
state
think.
gunner.
And the most damaged ship
Leave a
for
front
now
cannon
is
to-
actually still the Bonapartnership's flagship.
I don't think rocket boats, while they look flashy, they don't do major damage HP wise. They damage those destructibles. They're such they are. They take out cannons. They take out masts. but they don't do the major HP. Now we can see that the first
Yeah.
8 guns on the left for the 38's HP is starting to drop at a rapid rate now. But if I was the Bonapartes, I'd still be worried about my flagship. I mean, he's now pretty much out of combat. If you look at the overhead now, the 38s are now pulling range. They're heading towards the
Yeah.
spawn.
But it's quite a pickle actually, because there's this lone Bonapartnership 8-gun which has basically run aground in a attempt to shoot that SCP lone 8-gun in the rear, but it has now both of the SCP's gunboats in its stern being shot there, while the rest of the Bonapartnership fleet is keeping together quite well, and the SCP's flagship is just sailing off into nothing, really, leaving its...
Both flagships are bugging out of this fight. They've
Yeah.
left it to the 6-8 guns in the middle, and at the minute, the roles are reversed. Now the Bonapartnership's little 8-gun fleet has such a better position now.
Yes, they do. They formed a proper line, first of all.
You can see from the HPs now.
Yeah.
They're taking the hammer in.
So,
It was just a
Swington-
missed opportunity of not keeping that T-cross by having Fishy drop his sails there.
Yeah, that really is it. So, Swangton, are you on one of these 3 8-guns there that form a line?
Yes, I am in the middle, it seems. In the middle, yes.
Yeah, so
Switch to the
your
13 gun, please.
crew on
Switch
your
to
ship is
13
getting
gun.
quite some hits in, are they?
They've been getting consistent hits in, but they have taken quite a substantial amount of damage. They were at the rear of the line when the 13 engaged, so they took the brunt of the impact from they've lost one cannon on this side, but are carrying on quite well.
That's brilliant. How's communication?
I just muted it now, so I could talk easier, but they have been consistently communicating on what shot calls, what shot types to be using. They seem confident.
That's good to hear. So it looks like the Bonapartnership 13 gun has now, or is now rejoining this line, which, but in the rear this time. And they are sailing off, basically parallel to the wind. No, a bit against the wind actually, sailing off, trying, I think, to engage the SCP's flagship.
The
And
SCP
they
flagship
might
is
just,
going to
reach it.
find himself in a world of hurt if he keeps going along this. He's going
Switch to
almost
change
solo
shot, please.
around this island. He's about to have 3 8-guns and that 13-gun bear down on him. Now, if the Bonaparte's fleet just goes straight for the border now, for the wall, and stop,
13 gun dragon.
that's all she wrote for that flagship. However, it looks like they're trying to close distance a bit from this angle.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
if-
SB, the 38s just lost 2 main masts on their 8 guns, 1 on each of their main guns back here, and the rocket boat's doing massive damage to their 1 8-gun. So their 8 guns, 2 of them came and get into the fight because they're going to lose half their speed losing one of their masts.
Yeah, that's the masting is always a scary thing, especially if they're isolated like they are here. So the Bonapartnership's rocket boat is doing a good job there.
Yes, for now.
Though it,
Go for 8-gun.
yeah, no, and that lone Bonapartnership 8-gun too is still in the fight back here. It has shaken off the SCP's gunboats. It's actually sunk both of them, it seems, or they have been sunk by some means. And it is now also again pursuing
Get rid
its
of the
lone
port side and get rid of
8-gun
Stabber, please.
prey here, which it looks
This-
is pretty
Ports,
low
get rid
on
of Stabber.
HP right now.
This is a gutsy
Yeah,
move
here
from
it
Bonaparte.
seems, that I have a very interesting situation
Yes.
right now.
Yes. Let's go to your position then. That's Piet, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, Piet on the first French 8-gun. What do you see?
I
Oh, probably
Oh,
like 13 gun,
the-
use round shots, whatever. Just
perspective
get
of
them out.
First round, you
the
got
8
shot shot in, and I'm gonna load you with a round next.
gun in attempt to defend against the British line.
Yes.
13 gun, weapon, please.
As
How's it
for the
going?
now,
Reminder, we only have 2 guns on the side.
the T,
Do we
is
can
my ship.
use You've got to
Fuck, if they get a
use the
little
trouble
closer,
up
I might
front.
throw a little
Yeah,
We're in a
canister.
bit of a
see-
pickle on the Thread 13 as well over here. We seem to
Yeah.
have decided to start crossing our T against both three British and 8 guns and their 13. All targets are on the British flagship itself, but we are losing cannons, we are losing men, and I think we are going to be losing our lives very shortly.
I wouldn't be so sure on that, my friend, because I think the British flagship is about to go down.
Oh yes,
And
it is.
That is
second now.
correct.
Any second
The
now.
next 10 seconds, yeah.
This has been a gutsy move from the SCP-38, but it's gonna pay off because they're getting position around the Bonaparte's fleet. The Bonaparte's 8 guns. Once that 13 goes down, they've nowhere to go except into a wall of
Oh,
other
but-
8 guns from the SCP.
But they've
They do
stopped
take it
getting.
down.
No, now it's down. Okay,
It's down.
Bonapartnership's flagship is down. That's
Mhm.
the yellow one over here. But
Oh.
SCP's flagship doesn't have much health left.
It doesn't have
So-
much health left, but it doesn't have another 13 gun pounding away at it now.
Yeah, Percy, how's it going over
I
there?
love this move
Uh,
because
I
they're,
have just
they're,
gone
they're
down.
crossing the T's for their 8 guns because they're making Bonapartnership focus on their 13, and now these other 3 8 guns are just raking the decks of these 2 8 guns here for the British.
And there it goes. There goes the SCP's flagship.
Yeah,
I think
that,
it ended up as a worthwhile trade.
Yeah, that was a great trade for the 38s, I believe. If they win, that's going to be the move that wins it for them, I think.
Yeah, because all their 3.8 guns, even the one without a mast, there are now in a proper line, able to rake the bows of the Bonapartnership's 2.8 guns here, while a third of theirs still has to get back into position.
The other problem you've got now up here is the Bonapartnership's 2 8 guns that are firing against this line of 3 8 guns of the 38s are now blocking each other.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
what they have 4 cannons facing 12 effectively.
Yeah, and I think we are about to see a rowboat combat in the middle of the water here, because from both the 13 guns there have now been boarding boats cast off, and they are trying to head towards each other, it seems. Alright, Warcrime, what is going on where you are?
Yeah, our rowboat is chasing down the enemy flagship rowboat. There's 2 people, only 1 rower, so it looks like we'll probably catch them, intercept them before they reach our 8 gun.
Yeah, and that will be sorely needed, because...
There's the rocket boat from the Bonapartnership.
Okay, we have an incoming rocket boat, yeah? Oh yeah, an incoming rocket boat. The Bonapartnership's rocket boat has caught up with its prey once again. That is still, it seems, the original rocket boat that they've taken out in the beginning of the match.
It is,
now,
with
yeah,
no
they have not
damage.
lost the boat, yeah. And it's now
Hasn't even
harassing
taken
the
a
rear
hit,
of
it looks
that-
like.
No. It's now harassing the rear of that 3-ship line that the Bonapartnership has set up here so carefully. Wait, the SCP has set up so carefully, sorry.
Oh, I'm looking at that
right.
rocket boat. I actually know one of the members of the rocket boat. He's a very experienced gunboat and rocket boat captain for us in the Seawolves, and that's Dumbbell. I think he's working with Shifty, and they're just making great plans here with that gunboat.
Yeah, I don't think there's
Get
anyone
here,
really in a
seems to be.
position to...
I will have boarding action soon.
Okay, let's go over to Piet then. On the first French 8 gun.
Alright, as I could see, there is 1 person inside the water. That seems that Micro does not seem to notice right now.
So is it a carpenter?
It is a carpenter.
Okay, that could become interesting now, because I know that there has been a bunch of talk pre-game with all the carpenter players, carpenter mains, basically hyping each other up, and this one is Karen Admiral Bulldog swimming to hopefully do some damage with his axe.
I'm excited to see this.
Yeah.
Also seems that when crossing the T, the first British 8 gun that is currently sinking has lost all its cannons from my side.
Okay, Bulldog is under the bowsprit of the SCP ship. Not yet noticed, it seems.
Yeah, they haven't.
Yes. And
Seems
blunderbuss
one of
and
the
dead.
correspondent is currently on the boat that's swimming towards me.
Heads up, we
Yeah,
got a
so,
big rowboat off to our front.
well, he's
12
Bulldog
o'clock.
has been taken care of at
Spicy and
least.
I will try to hold them off.
And
We-
by now,
just in case.
We have a
Fine.
very interesting situation here now. I know that the rear 8 gun of the SCPs is getting hammered by all sorts. However, the 8 gun that is being targeted by this mini fleet just keeps making the wrong decision. He just keeps driving straight at the enemy. He's not even trying to get in rotation. I don't know whether he's lost all his cannons. I don't know. And now he's pulled up his sails and is stopping
yeah,
in
but
front.
the SCP ship has lost
It
both
looks like he
sails
has
now
one
of his
cannon
rocket boat.
each side.
We got there. We
Uh,
He has
that
one cannon each side.
he
It's
has
not
one.
gonna matter.
cannon
He's
each
going
side.
to go down.
I think he's purposely baiting himself so the 38s have to focus on him, so the rest of the Bonapartnership can focus on the 38s. I think he's sacrificing himself at this point with only
Right.
one cannon per side.
Yeah, I think he's down. Yeah.
If it is, it's a brave strategy. It's a brave strategy, and we are now down to 2 8 guns versus 3. Now I know one of those 3 is basically a battle barge at this point, but he's still got cannons. He can still fire at enemies.
Yeah, but he has a rocket boat right up his behind.
Yes, it is.
So I'm hoping that his the rocket boat is passing in front of him.
Rocket boat's
Apparently
decided to go for new prey by the looks of things.
Yeah, apparently satisfied with the work there.
But he's in a death field there.
Yeah, there is SCP boats all around. So, Job, you're on the second SCP 8 gun. How is it looking over on your ship?
Not very good. So we've lost
happening?
both of our masts,
Yeah,
most
you're
of
the
our
battle barge.
cannons.
Yeah,
I'm surprised that the rocket boat sailed right by us, honestly.
Jerp, tell me what cannons are up on that battle barge at the minute.
We have, I
2 per
believe
side, right?
it's only, no, we have 1 on the left and then 2 on the right.
Ah,
Oh,
my
man.
mistake. No, you
Yeah.
have your. Oh yeah, you're right. It is only 1
Yeah, so
on your right.
that's well, at least you have something to shoot with, but you're turning away now, I see, and you have a gunboat behind you as well. So the rocket boat really has now turned towards a different prey, although this rocket boat is now down. That very first Bonapartnership rocket boat that has done so much damage has finally been taken out by the crossfire by the 2 SCP-8 guns here. So
Yeah, they did a nice little pincer movement on him to.
yeah, but I mean that boat has been up from the beginning and has not just now taken damage and immediately exploded.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
would love to see their scores at the end of this on who was on that and where they are on the leaderboard, because you know they have to have some good scores from that rocket boat.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I would bet that there's ICT up on there actually, because he's currently in the lead for the Bonapartnership score-wise, and is a proficient boat driver, to say the least. Mercenary on that team today. So, but back to the big ships, I think. We've talked enough about boats. So, the positions here, the SCP are up 1 boat, but it's barely alive, it's a battle barge. And then they have 1 ship which is in pretty good health, and 1 which has maybe a third of its health left. While the Bonapartnership has only 2 8-guns, 1 almost full health and 1 about half health.
And they're about to cross the T to the rear of the 38s here in about 1 minute.
True. However, it looks like the 38s have turned their attention to start dealing with the smaller boats.
I think they're trying to take care of the small boats going for their battle barge so they can keep their 3-2 advantage, but being so focused on the boats, the Bonapartnerships or 8-guns are going to come and wreck this rear 38's ship. Which actually is now countering it. They've now finally spotted the 2 8-guns coming in.
Yeah, I'm currently on this boat at the moment, and I think everyone's preparing for a bit of squeaky bum time. Everyone's turning to port side guns and just getting ready to trade fire. It's not going to take many shots, I don't think, but they seem to be repelling the cannon fire with some kills on the lead 8-gun coming into this. So hopefully the cannons.
So you're the one with a slim white sliver on the French side, 8-gun wise.
Yes. 1 mast.
And you have 3 cannons left on your left?
I think just sunk, actually.
Oh, you just sunk. Ah.
Yes, just sunk. It did not take long for that volley to come through, and I believe there's going to be some sort of boarding party that I will be keeping an eye with.
The
Wait, the
battle
battle
barge has
barge?
like 15% health or so.
Yeah, I thought that was the one that was
Interesting.
going down, but no.
No, like I
Okay.
said to you, the rocket boats don't do major damage to HP. They just take down those destructibles.
Yeah.
Okay,
Seems
so
the
this
rocket
is
boat
not
will
messy.
commence the boarding action
Now
on
the battle
my
barge
ship.
is trying to turn.
Oh yeah.
Who commands
so-
that battle barge? Oh, Lucius.
We are gonna have some boarders up behind us soon as well. Quite a big party.
Oh
And there's
my
only
God,
3
look
of
at
us
that.
on the ship.
And you got as many as 8 people coming in at you, maybe more.
And you don't have a
9.
swivel gun. Don't have a swivel gun to repel it.
The captain is down.
That's 9 of them, including 1 carpenter, and amongst that, this is going to be devastating.
Oh, that's been a wasted great shot if I've ever seen one. So this
And
is
I
quite a
believe
bit
they've
of trouble
taken
here.
over.
Yeah, I mean, they have basically 2-1 odds, and they arrived here unopposed. So now it's just a question if that carpenter there at the bow, who is ESC Saboteur, can manage to get the damage in here. While I see a mercenary from the Leviathans holding the helm. Who's
He's
that
not
by the
really
way?
using his axe right now. He actually hopped off the
I see.
boat.
Yeah, that
Are they
is
abandoning
very
it?
weird.
I'll be honest
Yeah.
here, guys. From a tactical point of view, the SCP's only route to victory, in my mind, is to deal with all the Bonaparte's boats, get all their boats down, and use their own boats to harass the 2 8-guns that are left. Because those 2 8-guns will rip this last
With a minute
SCP-38
left.
8-gun left. Oh god, I didn't even see the time.
So right now it's a tie. If this battle barge lives for 1 more minute, it will come down
It
to a
won't.
tie. But I don't think they will.
No.
It won't. It is taking damage now from the 2 8-guns of the Bonapartnership, which basically sit out of range of that last 8-gun for the last minute. Yeah, it's down.
Absolutely,
Battle
yeah.
Barge is down. So
And
Bonapartnership has 2 still pretty healthy 8-guns. SCP has 1 with 45 seconds to go, but basically no hope of reaching them in time. So if there's not a very lucky stroke somehow, I believe this will end up with a Bonapartnership, pretty slim actually, Bonapartnership victory by number of 8-guns.
It was damn close. It was so close.
Yeah, it
I-
fluctuated back and forth all the time. Who
So
thought
the
might
2
win?
highlights here is I think the 38's not keeping the T crossed when they first engaged the Bonapartnerships. Lost them this match, but I think for the Bonapartnership, that rocket boat, that first rocket boat that lived for 25 minutes almost,
Yep.
that I think won it for them. That devastated this battle barge and allowed the British to break the tie. If they didn't have that rocket boat doing that work for 25 minutes, I don't know if they would have pulled off, and I think this would have been a tie.
Even the
But
scores
congrats.
were tight. Even the scores were tight.
Oh my god, that's what, now the official tightest match?
Yes.
400 points?
It definitely is. I think the closest so far were like above 3,000 still. So
Oh my god, that was an
is-
exciting match.
That is
And I told
very
you
close.
it would come down. I think it was just map knowledge that won that. That was an amazing match.
That was very close. I got a bit confused in the middle because there was so much like boat action going on and the fleets were split up all the time, especially the SCP-38. Like their fleet was split in the beginning already before they first made contact, and they split it several times basically. But in the like shortly before their end, they got it together really nicely. You know, when their 13 gun sailed in across the arena border there. They got their fleet together pretty well, but then in the end, because they were just demasted, they disintegrated a bit again. All right, so we have a Bonapartnership win, very close, and by number of 8-guns as the win condition here. Okay, so I think our predictions were pretty good. I mean, Atticus, you said the SCP would win?
I thought they just might have a bit more in the tank than the Bonapartnership, but let's be honest here, guys. There was a lot of questionable fleet work there. Maybe not so much from the admirals, but the captains. What was that 8-gun doing so far back for the SCP?
That's my first question right there.
That has got to be the first question in my mind.
Yeah, that was. I mean, to be fair, the Bonapartnership basically answered that by ramming one of their 8 guns into an island and staying there for like 5 minutes. So it's not like they just flawlessly pulled away from that. But yeah, that
Well, that
was
was
definitely
to
like
do
fleet
massive
cohesion.
damage. Yeah, they did that to do a lot of damage to what ended up being the battle barge ship. No, the first ship to sink.
Yeah.
And it sunk 2 gunboats, while the 38's first sunk 8 gun just kept going, taking all these hits and not really returning any fire and trying to counter. It just tried to run and ended up sinking early. So again, I'm going to ask that's my first question is what
Yeah,
what
well.
happened there and what was the plan?
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. So, right, I think yeah, that was a decisive moment, as you said, and then there was also yeah, the action in which both the 13 guns sunk shortly after each other, which really cost the SCP 13 gun, which went in there like half health, costed a lot, but they did bring down the Bonapartnership 13 gun first and left their fleet, including that crippled battle barge, in quite a strong position for a while until the rocket boat and the Bonaparte's 8 guns swept in to kind of save that situation. So that at that point, I think it could have gone the other way if they have had their 8 gun up, the SCP had their 8 gun up for a bit longer, if they had taken not quite as much damage there and maybe had engaged the 8 guns after they were done with the Bonaparte's 13 gun. I think they had a good chance there.
Yeah, there were so many individual turning points that just kept bouncing it from one side to the other, having the favor. This was never just clearly one side or the other was going to win throughout. It kept coming back and forth. This was a yin and a yang. This was just a great counterbalance to each other. These two teams are so evenly matched, it's insane. And this was a very, very exciting match. I love seeing two equal teams fighting like that. I mean, again, I can't wait for these interviews overall because these two teams were so evenly matched. I don't know if we'll ever see a score that close again.
Yeah, it was really quite remarkable. And speaking of interviews, here are our admirals. So first of all, let me introduce to you all First Ram Triangle of the Bonapartnership, their fleet admiral. Hello, Triangle.
Hello, everybody. It's happy to be here. Hello,
Congratulations on your win.
Oh, thank you. It was a very close call. Got dicey at some parts, but it was a good.
Absolutely,
it was a good game.
So, well, we talked about what we would like to ask you, but I think first we need to get a baseline set here. So, you had played one match before, which you won against the Jackals on this very map. So, going in with this bit of pre-knowledge, basically, of the map, what were your expectations of this match, and what was your strategy?
Well, we knew fighting them in open water probably wouldn't be the best idea, so we wanted to use the islands as best we could. We definitely wanted to use chain shot when they were going in between the islands. We wanted to try and like bottleneck them as much as possible. The map itself, though, we knew that it'd end somewhere in the islands, and it did.
Well, you had that power. You decide you could tell early on that you didn't want to leave the open waters. You could tell from your movements you wanted that battle in the islands, and your starting position definitely gave you that advantage.
Yeah, there's a moment where SCP put all their 8-gun sails up, and I was like, okay, no, there's no way we're going through these islands into open water, so we just did like a hard turn left and around some islands.
Yeah, when they turned around, because you were going in the beginning, you were going with the wind, right? In the very beginning, right? No,
we were going against it, I believe. Our plan was to go against it,
the
then get
SCP
the wind.
answered you by right. Sorry, I got that confused. And then for a minute, then you both teams went against the wind. And basically you both turned then, and you did a whole like another circle around that one island there before.
Yeah, and that one island got dicey, let me tell you. The SCP started coming up on us from behind, and I was like, "Oh my god, we can't have them cross our T's here. We have to hard turn. We have to get out of this."
Yeah, it looked
and
like
luckily,
a bit of a scramble there.
Yeah, oh yeah, we did.
So your initial strategy of using chain shot and staying in the islands and basically avoiding open water battle. Do you think it was the right strategy? Did it work like you intended?
Well, I mean, if I'm being honest, it made for a fun game either way. Like the amount of carnage that was getting caused, probably hopefully on both sides of the teams, was amazing. But yeah, I mean, look, a win's a win, so I can't really say that it didn't work out for us. But yeah, it was very close, very close.
So this is another of our baseline questions, basically. But as typical in the NSL, there's quite a lot of mixing of fleets going on because you have a lot of mercenaries in your fleet. You have a bigger fleet than you're used to from other events to command. So how did communications work out? I believe you didn't yourself actually captain a ship, did you? Were you in overhead view or were you on one of the
Yeah, so I was spectating, so I was the admiral, so I was like doing a bird's eye view for my captains. Each of my captains were in a VC with me, and then they also had a second on their ship that would relay the orders in game chat. And that seemed to work out really well for us because it was very clear. I could just say to the captains, "Oh, is this what we want to do? We're going here. What do you think about this?" And the captains could also come back to me and say, "Oh, they're going this way. They're going that way." And then as soon as I gave an order or we decided on something, they could just say it in game, and then the second would give the order, and then the whole ship would know.
Yeah, that seems like a good system. So the other commentators here with me. More questions for Triangle.
So when you all first engaged, were you afraid that they were going to try to both keep the T crossed in the front of your fleet while also selling the 13 gun behind you? Because that's what I thought their plan was for the 38s, but they ended up not doing that, and you were able to get out of what was a very deadly trap off that first engagement to your two fleets.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like when I saw their sails go up and their 13 gun kept going with the two gunboats or rocket boat, I was like, okay, this is definitely they want to draw us in here. So my plan at that point was let's just get us out of here, which my captains were able to see as well, and they were able to execute it.
Great uses of gunboats today and that rocket boat, that one rocket boat that lived for 25 minutes almost. That was insane to watch how much damage that boat did, and I can't wait to
Oh
see the
yes,
stats of
yes.
who was on that and what their damage or their total score was, because they had to be over 1,000 each. The guys shooting those rockets, they had so many hits.
Well, I believe it was captained by Shifty, or it could have been Liam, one of the two.
It was
I know.
Shifty.
Yeah, Shifty. I think Davy Queen was on it as well, and I think Ginger Snake was also on it. So listen, the rocket boats and gunboats today on my team did absolute work. Like I couldn't have asked for much better from them.
I thought you had the better edge on the boats today. Looking back at this match, you clearly actually had the advantage with boats and doing more work with yours versus the 38s. But oh my God, how close do you think that match was by total score? Have you heard how close it was?
I haven't actually heard how close it was by score, but just from me looking at it from a bird's eye view, I was like, oh yeah, this is a close match. This is two, dare I say, two good teams going up against each other and just giving their best, and this is what happens.
The score was about 400 apart.
That's quite wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the closest so far was still above 3,000. So yeah, that's quite something.
Sorry to interrupt
No,
there,
go
Werble. Triangle, did you say Ginger Snake then was on that gunboat?
I did, yes.
Rocket
Is he in the first RM now, is he?
Yes, he is.
Oh well, for all of you at home, Ginger Snake's a former regiment member of my regiment friend of mine from a different regiment, so it's good to see that he's still holding up and playing. So yeah, give him my best, please.
I will.
Right. So Triangle, with now the Bonapartnership having 2 wins for 2 matches under your belts, both pretty hard. Well, this one very hard fought and closely won. The other one a bit larger margin, but still, you had to fight for it. Do you know just off the top of your head who you'll be fighting next?
Ooh, That's a good question. I'm not sure actually. Do you know?
I can answer that question for you.
Ah, yes, please do.
You were up against the Krakens.
Oh
Have
yeah,
fun.
just
We
that
will-
easy team. Yeah,
We will
that's fine.
await that one with bated breath.
that'll,
Oh, yeah.
that'll
I'm
definitely be a
excited because
test.
I get to face you all in December 8th in the last round, the next to last match of the preseason. I get to face you again. You and me have faced before back at the last league, so I can't wait for a rematch there.
Don't worry, Chewy. I've marked it in my diary, mate.
Right.
Yes.
So for that match with the Kraken, the next one, what are you taking from this match? What kind of lessons did you learn today?
Probably our gunboat strategy and our rocket boat strategy that worked out really well for us. Obviously, the volleys with the chain shot that worked out well as well. But definitely the gunboat and rocket boat strategies.
Yeah, I would definitely advise you to keep that because that was great. All right, then for now, let's turn to the Admiral of the SCP-38's fleet, Muffintop Scout. Glad you're with us. And I really, even though your team lost, I have to say congratulations on a very fine, very well fought match.
Yep, thank you. It's both matches so far have been loads of fun, and I always, I shoot for that victory, but mainly I try to shoot for non-traditional fighting. No circle of deaths if I can't, if I can help it. And I
Left
like
soul.
I like to create slogs if I can.
Yeah, because it seems like your team's gunners really did make that work. Like the boats, we talked a lot about the boats. That was one thing, but like in the straight up gunnery duels, it seems like the SCP-38 had the upper hand for quite a long time in this match. Also with the engagement where both your 13 guns sunk, you were in a good position there for a time and really hammering down on the Bonapartnership's fleet there. So what were your expectations and your strategy going into this round with your fleet?
Well, the main strategy was, as kind of Triangle noticed, was to put distance between my 8 guns and the 13 gun originally. I wanted to go for the corner of the map that would hopefully allow me to turn into the wind to try to get the wind advantage on them as we fight into the islands, because I fully expected them to pick an island fight in a sense. So I kind of wanted to figure out where I could maneuver my ships into such a position to try to get an advantage. So that was the
Yeah,
initial.
we were wondering because we noticed that your 13 gun was quite a bit apart from your 8 guns in the beginning for several occasions actually where it seemed like your fleet was splitting up, and we weren't quite sure if that was intentional all the time. But now it seems that it was actually.
Yeah, for the most part, it was intentional. One of my 8 guns definitely did have a little oopsie on maneuvering.
Is that the one that got caught behind?
Yeah, and I had told him like, hey, turn back into the wind and loop around them so that we'd have a smaller crossfire in a sense, or maybe they would take the bait of going after that one and I could come around the island and engage them. So I was just trying to use what options I had at that time, looking around since I captain the 13 gun normally.
Yeah, you were a captain. You weren't in a NOVAD view, right? So you had your hands full, really.
Nope,
commanding
I'm
the
not.
fleet.
I like commanding it from the position of a captain, kind of while captaining the ship. I like the experience of it. It's really it's fun for me, and it allows me to kind of rely on communication with my captains, as that's something that we've been improving on, and stuff that we got to get better at, like calling out when people are in the water, kind of stuff like that. Because I know there were a few swimmers that were able to hop on board my 8 guns, and part of me was like, how did you not see the call about, boys? Kind of stuff like that. But yeah, as I said, I like to kind of captain / command, and I give my orders like I give them the overall plan. And something that I've done that a couple other groups seem to be doing is I keep everyone in the same voice call on Discord. We don't separate our ships so that the entire we use VoIP for like intership comms, and that way everyone hears the orders from myself and from the other captains, and it seems to work quite well when it comes to for our gunnery, as like the gunnery officers will give a quick update in the Discord, and our cannons, all of our cannons, pretty much readjust. So
Yeah,
it just seems
that's
like it works out pretty well.
yeah, speaking from like my experience, and even though I have not yet fought in this league, but like as generally as a gunner and also frequent gunnery officer, actually, that's quite a good system if you just manage to get the basically the push to talk Discord discipline, so that no one is talking over the captains or the admiral. But it seems you've got that worked out, yeah.
Yeah, it could get a little excited at some moments, but everyone really does listen. Merc, the regular guys, they use VoIP when they need to, and then they hear my voice and they follow the commands. I mean, if we had a few more numbers, that's the other reason why I like everyone in one chat, is so that I could do a mass boarding action, try to, and swarm ships if I get that opportunity with boarders. But
yeah,
because I think it
yeah.
helped everyone, like mercenary. It doesn't
Oh yeah,
matter.
definitely. If you know what's going on, you can adapt without always asking back for orders, right? So, but basically, yeah, that was one of our questions. What did that last 8 gun do there after entering the islands? Why did they turn away? So that was basically, yeah, you explained why that happened.
Yeah.
So you had, I think, a bit of a problem there with one of your ships being completely demasted, right? We talked here in the stream about a battle barge, right? You had that 8 gun, which still was fighting, but couldn't move that much. So did you adjust your tactics in any way to accommodate that?
A little bit. So once we committed to like that corner area of the map for the fight, and my captain Lucius there was saying, "Hey, I got the rocket boat behind me, and I know that rockets can demast the ships pretty easily." So I just said, if you can't throw boarders at it, pretty much just don't worry about it. Just keep moving, keep focusing down our primary target, and then let our gunboats, since at that time they had not yet joined us. Like, I know they had both sunk, and they hadn't rejoined us, but I was like, they'll come back and they'll help. But I just knew that while we had the advantage in positioning, just you just take the hits and focus fire. And then it kind of devolved a little bit into that as we kind of started little circling each other, and I was trying to balance out the fleet of, okay, try to get for the demasted ship is like, okay, like get into a position where you can fire your cannons, preferably at the enemy 8 guns, but if the gunboat is coming in on you, then work on that. And I allow the captains to make that call, especially for boarding parties, smaller boarding actions like that, because gunboats and rocket boats, they like to get close, and you get that opportunity to take them over. But
Yeah.
I knew I had to ignore it
Yeah,
until our gunboats came back.
You can't just basically make your whole fleet change course just for that one boat, really, in that situation, because you had at that point still you were trying to get the Bonapartnership's 13 gun, right? Which you did, which was a very very brave move, committing your 13 gun there along the wall, basically momentarily more or less crossing its own T against the fleet, but getting in a position to actually take down the enemy 13 gun first, and then threatening the 8 guns, even though it then went down a bit too soon to actually do that much after it sunk its adversary there. So yeah,
well, that was
really,
in reaction to them, because I thought Triangle's 13 was going to charge my 8 guns. I thought they were going to go down the slot, and we were just going to pass each other.
Triangle, was that your plan? Were you about to charge at that time?
I think at that time, no. I think what our 13 gun was doing was just swapping sides for the cannons. So I'm glad it worked out that way.
That's interesting, though. That's what you perceive your adversary to do versus what they're actually doing. It's interesting trying to predict these movements because these ships are going slow, right? So that's actually, I guess, a question for both of you admirals. Is your strategy going into these matches, or also going forward, adjusted in any way to the reduced movement speed of these ships in the league compared to normal game?
I definitely take a little bit more time to think. Okay, what is the enemy actually doing? What's their course here? Are they turning? Are they going through? Are they swapping sides? Like, what are they doing? So it definitely makes me think more and take a little bit more time to say, "Oh, let's do this," in in retaliation for that. So yeah, definitely adds a bit of time to decision making, but not much.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same for me. It's I create a rough plan based on the map and try to keep it open enough to respond to enemy fleet movements and see where, we try to look for that advantage of positioning.
Yeah. All right. I mean, it really got close today, and I don't think that the SCP38 could have won with more time. I think basically you were 2-1 there, and both sides still had boats up, and I think even 5 more minutes or so wouldn't have saved you, even if your fleets had come to blows sooner in the beginning. But it was damn close for really everything except the last 1.5 minutes of the match, maybe. Once your second to last 8 gun went down there. So basically, as a last question here from my side, at least, to Muffin Top Scout, going forward now, do you know what who your next adversary will be?
I do not.
Atticus, can you?
I can
enlighten
tell
us
you
here?
that SCP-38's next next opponents are the Jackals of the Baltic Sea on the 29th of September. So it's a bit of a stretch to your next game.
Yeah, but plenty of
Right.
time to think about the match.
Yeah,
it is.
so
It is.
Through there.
yeah, so what kind of lessons do you take from this, which was your second loss in 2 games, but also both of those were very closely fought actually. So you
Yeah.
didn't lose all your ships in either match. Both went down to number or type of ships even in your last match, right? So yeah, what are you taking with you to finally get that close fought victory instead of that what you got
Yeah,
so far?
I think a key thing will be the gunboat rocket boat strategy since I've been creative. At least the first match with how I wanted to use them as originally sacrificial pawns for mass boarding operation at the beginning of the game. An alpha strike on to the KRN's 13 gun. That was an idea. But for this case, I wanted to use 2 gunboats with the role of trying to engage the enemy gunboats to get that advantage in kills, at least for gunboats. But I still think they're going to be pretty key to the type of engagements that I want to go for. And then just fleet positioning, honestly, like seeing if I can better dictate where to fight and see if I can create the crossfire, because part of me was thinking against Triangle's line when we first did the initial engagement, like I went right, probably should have told my 8 guns to hook left, and we would have divided the fleet, but it would have been an interesting reaction to see how Triangle would have responded.
Yeah,
But yeah, I want to try to
yeah,
get a crossfire situation.
So I know the
excellent.
situation you're talking about, and at that point, I even said it when you rewatched the broadcast. Fishy was in a great spot, and if he dropped all his sails, you would have had a 90-degree trap. And it was just that one key moment. I thought this is where 38's going. If they win, this is where be where they win. If they drop their sails, and he ended up just sticking with the rest of the 8 guns. But at that one point, you'll look back at it and be like, that's one key your first key position of that you gave up. I mean, your 8 gun play and 13 gun play, I think, was actually a little better, but their gunboat play made up for that difference. And how did you feel about fighting in their spawns, having to get the rocket and gunboats immediately while you had to wait 5 minutes for yours to sail across the map?
Yeah, so I'm of the mindset because I love being a gunboat and rocket boat, either gunner or captain for when I mercenary with in the league. And I always think it's like, okay, I don't want to fight in my spawn. I want to be able to give my gunboats and rocket boats a chance to get into the fight. And that I had asked a question before the map to I think Atticus and I'd kill him. Asked like I just want to clarify what are the rules for a manned ship because I knew it was going to be a chance that we could fight in a spawn.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure it was clarified, and it is a risk because the gunboats, if they're out of position, which they kind of are, as soon as they spawn in, from what I understand, they're considered a target at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can quickly just get melted if we don't have like other targets to engage at that time. But they're also in a very, very, in a sense, key position to hopefully turn around and get some good shots off right before the enemy can respond. So it is a thing of I don't want to fight in the spawn of either spawn ideally because you're kind of weighing the advantages and disadvantages of it for both sides. But yeah, it's just I told my guys, hey, if you see them, gun them down at that point. But it is a risk.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see to face you again because I faced you last Naval League, but I can't wait to face you October 27th because if you can work on your boat play, your rocket boat and gunboat play between now and then, I was already scared of you all after seeing that you're very close down to the nail biting KRN match. You all impressed me there and you all impressed me today. And I think if you work on your boat play, you all are going to be straight up deadly. Putting X up on a warning, you're putting Seawolves on warning. If you can just improve that, I think that's the last thing you all need to really just slightly improve to make that the big swing to the top tier of this league.
Yeah, right. That I think that sounds like a pretty good closing word. So, any last comments from Triangle or Muffin Top Scout before we let you go and rejoin your crews for post-game?
Just the usual. A big thank you to all the mercenaries. They were all great. And a big shout out to my team and my captains. Couldn't really have asked for anything better from them. So, yep.
Thank you. Thank you for
Same
joining us
lines.
today.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Thank you to everyone, mercenaries, the first RM for fighting it out with us. Thank you to Chiron. Shout out. You were my gunboat captain in my first match. You'll be my gunboat captain in other matches when we're not playing against the first RM.
I like it.
Right. Okay, then thank you, Admirals, for your time and for telling us all about your strategies so that in the future we may understand and beat you even better. Right. No, thank you. Thank you for the interview. That was quite enlightening. So, yeah, with that, I first of all want to thank both fleets and all the mercenaries as well on behalf of basically the league, which we represent here. For tonight's entertainment, I would like to thank everyone who was watching us today on Twitch in our stream. And I would like to thank my team here in the broadcast center, which are my co-commentators Atticus and Chewy. First of all, thank you, both of you.
Not a problem.
Thank you. I can't wait to be back one day.
Yeah, we'll make sure to make that happen. And also all the correspondents on the ships. So Percy, Warcrime, Piet, Swaggington, and Jerp. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you very much.
Know some of you already had to leave, but yeah, good job. And also, of course, I want to thank Mr. Dr. Professor here behind the scenes in the control room keeping it all together. Right, and with that, I want just to quickly announce next week we will have a match where the Vodkalician will meet the Leviathans team.
Right. Could I just sorry, Werble?
Yeah,
That's
go ahead.
not next week. Next
Oh.
week is Labor Day weekend in the United States, and as a lot of us behind the scenes have put a lot of work into this, we thought a week off would be very nice. So there is no game next Sunday. The
wow.
the game the next game between the Vodkalician and the Leviathans is on the 8th of September.
Huh. Right. I
That's
forgot
true,
there was
that's true.
something. Yeah. Okay then. Then we will have I think our usual mid of the week streams probably. Yeah.
Yes. Still planning on hosting crew quarters on Tuesday, and I believe the wardroom will go ahead on Thursday as planned.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that, and then we'll have a little break and continue with the match of Vodkalician versus Leviathans in 2 weeks. Right, thank you all very much, and that's it for us from tonight. Goodbye.